TV. Today we got a great story for you about some good things happening in Jackson for the children. I'm talking about the ARK. It is a nonprofit organization under New Horizon Ministries, and it's dedicated to community empowerment, restoration, and transformation. And boy, have they done that to the building they call the ARK. Joining us is their executive director, Dr. Adrianne Swinney, to tell us a little bit more. Welcome, Dr. Swinney.
Thank you for having me today.
I have been wanting, because this has been going on, you guys had the vision of the ARK how long ago?
It is actually over 15 or 20 years old.
Yes.
A friend of Representative Ronnie Crudup said to him one day, I had a vision that one day that building is going to be filled with children and youth. And that was the initial vision. And Mr. Charles Lewis, who is our director of basketball development, he had the talent and the dream to start developing youth through the gift of basketball. And he connected with Ronnie, and they were at another facility, and that's where it actually started. And then Ronnie contacted me to say, hey, I want to develop the old Sam's building and put some courts in it and do some other things. And from that initial vision to Charles's dream to my servant leadership and ability to come in and help them execute the vision and the dream, it's been a beautiful thing to see. It's much needed, the resources, the empowerment, the encouragement, to say that the people of South Jackson and Jackson matter, and that you deserve something awesome is instrumental. And so that's why we say we're all about transformation and empowerment.
And y'all transformed that space.
Absolutely.
If you haven't seen the photos, you can find those. We'll put them in the Good Things Facebook. I'll link it to it too, because you took the old, if anybody's been to a Sam's or a Costco, it's just a big warehouse. And where is this actually located?
590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi.
So for those of us who shopped that area, maybe growing up, that was a Sam's Club I grew up sort of going to, right, at the very beginning, recognize it, and then to watch it sort of transform, because how many square feet do you guys have?
Ooh.
Put you on the spot. I mean, it's
it
big.
Is over, I want to say it's over 15,000. It may be in the 20 range. That's not my ministry, the square footage, but it is definitely a huge facility. We currently have 3 basketball courts already installed, a CrossFit area and free weight area, and then we have a cardio and machine weight area along with a casual area with tables and a TV and couches where you can just kind of come in and relax. And we also have a meeting space, and we have plans for a phase 2, which will also include a volleyball court, which is supposed to be installed in January, along with a show court that will be a wood basketball court, as well as turf and baseball, softball hitting cages for baseball and softball players, as well as a golf bay, a little hitting bay where you can work on your putting.
Y'all covering it all.
Yeah.
Y'all pickleball?
We have considered pickleball. The courts that we have can actually
the parents want pickleball, not the students.
Yes, the courts can be converted, or the lines can be put down to have a pickleball court. And so that is something we consider tennis and pickleball. And pickleball is really growing in the state and in the area. So that is something that we have considered to have a versatile court. And we're not just for children and youth. We're for family. We want, if you're bringing a child to work out or play a particular sport, hey, that parent, let's get active. Go ahead and work out. Or in the just casual area, the lounge area, get your laptop out, sit down. If you have a younger one who's not doing it, they can do their homework there. We have Wi-Fi. If you just want to sit down and relax and grab some coffee and watch the news, we have all of that. And so it's really intended to serve everyone.
How long has the ARK been in this location, been open and functional? Phase 1 at least.
So it's a little over a year that we actually started putting the first court in. We had our official ribbon cutting. I think it was September the 19th. We had our official ribbon cutting. So it has been a beautiful, beautiful transformation.
How has the community responded?
They have been very responsive. It is, we're gearing up for the beginning of the year. Everyone gets their fitness goals and everything in gear at the beginning of the year. But we've also just been seeing a spike of individuals who some come in for training. There are those who come in because they work out every day. And then we've seen an uptick of people who just want to come in and play pickup basketball we get people come in at lunchtime and they just play pickup basketball. And now college students are home for the holidays. We are starting to see them come into the facility. We've had so many people to give to the ARK, to support, drop off checks to support the ARK. Of course, we've had people not even here. Kyrie Irving donated a court.
Which is funny that you mentioned that. That's a wonderful story, Dr. Swinney. And that's kind of how it led me. I saw that and I was like, oh, I Googled to get him on the show to see and then I went, oh, he's probably busy. I didn't realize not being in the sports world of that way. I was like, oh, well, you know what though? If he is into what's going on at the ARK, that means it's making way and people are connecting with it. How did a professional basketball player get connected with the mission there at the ARK here in Jackson?
Angie Thomas, the writer, she is also from Jackson, Mississippi. She put a post out. She has been very supportive of the ARK. She has sponsored some of our equipment, a court, and other needs, and donated to the ARK. And she put out a post for support, and Kyrie Irving responded to the post. And it was interesting to me because I get all of the donation information to my phone. And when I saw it, I looked at the zeros, and then I said, wait, let me look at that again. And then I looked at the name, and I said, that's Kyrie Irving. And
so you knew who he was?
Yes.
He's not local.
I've spent 20 years in college athletics, so I'm a very big sports buff. Love sports, been around it my whole life. But, yeah, that was such an amazing experience and opportunity. And even just to tell the youth, someone like Kyrie Irving is paying attention and is concerned and investing in you all and want you all to have a great opportunity. And that's something that we're proud of, and we're in talks with other some WNBA players and other NBA organizations, and so it's just been very inspiring to me and to those who get to enjoy it every day. But those of us who get to do the work, it has certainly been inspiring just to see people get behind. Our biggest benefactors at this point have been individuals who are not even located in Mississippi.
So prior to the ARK opening, Dr. Swinney, if you were thinking about, when I think about pickup basketball, or I think about families having a place to go and get a workout in, or just come and relax or commune, was there somewhere like that in that particular area of Jackson?
Not very much in Jackson, and I think that is what drove Ronnie's support of Charles and his vision and his dream to, we need something on this side of town for our youth. We need to give them access to resources and access to information and access to support. It really boils down to, it's hard to become something or dream about being something that you can't see. And allow them to see that facility like that can exist in their area, and that they matter, and that we're investing in them. We say when people come in, we want it to be a factory of hope, and we want people to dream big when they walk into the ARK. We want them to see this is actually a dream come true, and we want you to know that you can dream when you walk into this building, whatever it is that you aspire to be. We hope that in some way we can help you to become that through the services, the resources that we provide. But just come in and dream. This was once
Yeah, it took 15 to 20 dream, which Mr. Charles Lewis, Director of Basketball Development, is joining us here on Good Things. What does it feel like? Because I've sort of watched the progression, and I saw, I guess it was a couple years ago when it was like an idea, and then I saw that the transformation was starting, and then I noticed the ribbon cutting here. What's it feel like to you, Charles, to watch it? The doors are open.
It's amazing. Just the whole process of it. Like Swinney was saying, it's just knowing that it was a dream. It started off as just a thought, just an idea. And then, you kind of, you just working. I was just doing the work, just in the moment, not really worried about it, just working, knowing what the end goal was. And, when Ronnie comes and he's like, hey, I think we got the building. And I was like, yeah, okay. And,
'Cause it's a big building. I bet you know how big it is. How big?
Oh, yeah. 150,000 square feet.
See, I was so far
like
off.
You know what, girl, though? 10 or 15,000 sounds really big, too. But that's a whole lot bigger. Yeah.
I told her that's not my ministry.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's huge. And just remembering the whole, just the task of it, when you get the building, and it's like, oh, man, we got the building. But then when we walked in the building and you see trash, furniture, and you see the job in front of you, it's kind of like back at the starting point. It's like, oh, man, we're grinding. We're trying to get the building. We get the building. Then okay, we got the building, yes. And you walk in and it's like, oh.
What was the first thing that happened? Was it a pickup game of basketball? What's the first thing that happened once it was functional?
The first thing that happened once it was functional was me and Madison Booker training. That was the first thing we did because we were going to what we call the hot box, our old gym, every day, 5 a.m. And as soon as the courts got put down, the goals were put up. Maddie said, we're training at the new gym in the morning. And I was like, nah, not just. She was like, I got to be the first one to shoot in there. And so we went in and we worked out and trained, and then kind of just gradually just, some of the other kids that I was training was coming in.
And now it's a full-blown facility that's growing and going and got so many more good things to offer. We've got that and more coming up. Welcome back to Good Things. Don't forget, we are streaming live. You can find us over at supertalk.fm. We hope you know you can always find us, too, on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We're continuing our conversations with the brains behind the ARK, which is Charles Lewis. He's the Director of Basketball Development. But now the brains who is in charge of it, which is the Executive Director, Dr. Adrianne Swinney. And you're laughing, Charles. You're like, I built it. They came. Now she could sort of organize it. I love this idea. You took a 100,000+ square foot old Sam's and turned it into me. It sounds like a community refuge center, but it is a membership program. So it is an actual sort of gym facility, but you're trying to meet the needs of the community. So Charles, this was your idea 10 or 15 years ago, and Dr. Swinney was telling us, what did you see? What was the gaps here in like central Mississippi that you recognized that youth and families needed?
Well, it started growing up being a basketball player and just kind of single parent home, just me and my mom. And I had brothers, but it was just our mom. And so we, looking for places to go, looking for places to play ball, not finding many, especially that were kid friendly. I was just going to the local parks and, you pick up on a lot of stuff when you're with the older guys. And so nothing that was really for kids. And so, we go on through life, you live it. But as I got older, I started to realize how they started, tearing down the rims at those parks. They started making laws where kids couldn't have a basketball goal out in front of the yard. You had to have it in your yard, or you couldn't play. You couldn't be in the street. Because it used to be
in the streets.
Yeah, and so it was so many laws coming that was taking kids from being able to play. But the biggest complaint was, hey, the kids are the ones doing most of the crimes. And I would always say they don't have anything to do. And, we were losing skating rinks, YMCAs, and, different things were leaving. And so it was kind of just filling a void. Just lost in life, just with my story. I was kind of just lost in life, not much going right. Homeless, just being honest. And I was just kind of sick of it. And I was like, okay, God, I know this is not what you designed my life to be. So what is it that I'm supposed to do? And God just pushed me toward youth and basketball. And my goal started off as just, okay, I'm going to use basketball to reach the youth. And God started to then make my vision more important than basketball and say, hey, reach the youth. And so that's where the whole Development Academy, the ARK concept came from, because it went from just basketball to, okay, what can I do that can involve everybody? So he was like, sports, but you do basketball. We can find other people for other sports, but every kid isn't a basketball player. So you got to find a way to. And then it went from sports to, okay, well, what about arts? What about crafts? What about other things? Because every kid is not an athlete. Some kids are painters. Some kids are musicians. Some write music. Some may be photographers. And so it was just trying to find a program that everybody can be involved in, that have pique of interest of any kid that's in their area. And then also to give them different avenues other than just, you have to be an athlete or a rapper, and that's the only two.
Because I was just going to say, who's to say that the guy or gal who comes in just to pick up hoops doesn't see the paint or the drawing or hear the music and then find another creative, outlet? And it's not about necessarily making professionals out of them. It's just giving opportunity for creativity and a safe space.
Oh, yeah, because you never know. Like I tell a lot of the kids, they say, I didn't know I could do that. And I was like, you've never been in a space where you had to try. You've never been in a space where you've been pushed to do things, do other things, basically. Most times if you grow up in a certain areas, hey, you do this because that's all you see. And all you think is, oh, this is the only way I can make it out of here. I mean, for most kids, it was a basketball player. We saw Mo Williams, we saw Monte Ellis, we saw all these guys get drafted. So it's, okay, cool, I'll be a basketball player. We see a lot of football players get drafted. And so, yeah, that's great to get drafted, the dedication that it takes. But you can also use those same dedications, those same disciplines, and train on other different skills. And then bigger than just the sports or the arts, it's the life skills element that we try to push. Like I tell them a lot of times, these sports or different things that we may train on, you take those same things and they help you in life. I tell them, I'm training you to be a professional. And when I say professional, not a pro at a sport, but a professional meaning I get up every day, I come to work, I do my job, I'm good at it, I'm consistent at it, I'm a professional. I'm not complaining about it. I'm excited about it. So those are things that you can take in life.
Well, you're not always excited about it, but you get up.
But you get up
That
and
is true. Not
get
always
it done.
excited.
Yeah.
That is a
You
fact.
may not always be excited, but
is a
you get
fact.
up and you go,
You get
and that's the part of being, a professional. With those courts, I know, Dr. Swinney, you were saying too, volleyball, you're in the golf, the whole thing. Is it for? Do you have teams? Are y'all like competitive? Is there a sector to it that's going to have like the ARK? I don't know, like all the things. There's competitiveness in like tournament and all the things. So.
Oh yeah, we have the AAU basketball teams, travel teams already. We've been doing that for years now. I think I'm on year number 7 or 8 doing that or something like that. Lot more travel involved now. We play maybe 6 out-of-town tournaments, NCAA certified tournaments. I'm glad I'm on the radio. I can speak about that now. Coaches, AAU coaches and teams, please go to NCAA certified tournaments so these kids can be seen by college coaches.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of tournaments. They're cool, they're big, they got a name on them. But if no college coaches are there, these kids don't get an opportunity. And that's the entire reason for doing it, is so the children can get an opportunity. But yeah, we have travel teams. The overall goal is so we can train kids. Once we train you at sport, now let's put together some teams and let's go play against the rest of the nation and see how we can measure up against them. And so we will have that in every sport, baseball, football.
Yeah. And we do have an exhaustive list of programming that is scheduled for the ARK. Basketball was the first natural element to roll out. But we do want to have programming where we start to have volleyball, AAU volleyball coming out of our facility. But not even just a sport element of it. As Charles mentioned, the creative arts, we want to develop leaders out of the community. And so there will be leadership, mentoring programmings for families on how do you manage money and bank accounts? How do you become a civically responsible individual? How do you get involved in your community? Understanding government, how to purchase homes. We want to empower through exposure and information. And Charles mentioned that many times students only do one thing because that's all that they see. We want to be able to provide exposure. And so we have some things in the work. We're working with some other business organizations to develop a leadership and mentoring program where students will be able to rotate through multiple businesses to learn different crafts and skills to see what they may like. And so we're going to have some STEM-based, science, technology, engineering, and math-based programming, some specifically academic programming, life skills programming. So this thing is going to be so much bigger than just sport and fitness. We want to touch a whole realm for students, for youth, for families, so that they can have exposure. In my career, I found that exposure is what transforms organizations, is what transforms
just the
people.
gateway drug to sort of get them in and then give them everything else. Charles, your story is sort of remarkable, and so many people who find themselves here on Good Things sharing their story, it all happened because they just had an idea. And we hear about now 100,000 plus square foot. It's been transformed. It feels like it's up and going. Y'all are gaining momentum. Oh, I can't do that. That's too much. But if you had seen that may have scared you off. So to that person who's thinking in their community in Mississippi, they just want to have a safe space for their kids to play. What's your encouragement for just step out or find out?
First and foremost, if the dream isn't so big that it scares you, it's not big enough. That's the first thing. And then secondly is, if you're afraid of it, you're thinking about the end. The glory in the story is at the beginning, not the ending. It's the stuff that you're going through to get to the end point that's going to make you appreciate the end point. So don't just think about the end point and just work. Before anything, when God said, use basketball to reach to you, I didn't have an idea of where to go. I didn't think about running. all I knew was I wanted to train. And so I remember going to Lester Elementary, and that was the last school with basketball goals left outside. And I was just up there by myself, and I saw a kid walking with a ball, and I said, "You want to train? You need a basketball trainer?" He said, "Yes." And that was the first time. Didn't get $1 from him. I trained him. I probably trained my first 3 years for free. And I just wanted to start the work. And once you started the work and you stay faithful in the work, Ronnie always tells me, stay faithful with the small things and God will bless you with bigger. From day one, he always told me that. And so I always just remembered that if I stay faithful with this, it'll become bigger. And that's all that happened. I started the work, and I went from 1 kid for free to 100 kids for free. And, you know, people were like, "Man, you got all these kids. How much money you make?" I was like, "None." But some kind of way, I always, you know, made a way. And then it went from 100 kids for free to 100 for free and 20 people paying. And so it just grew as I continued to work. And God would always drop a person, place, or thing just in my life right when I needed it. Hey, I need money. Oh, here's a job offer. Hey, I need a place. Here's a gym. I need a place to stay. Oh, here's a house. Oh, man, we need a new building. Here's one. It's just, but that just came from staying faithful. So do the work. Don't worry about the end goal. Just
and
work.
Don't go anywhere. We'll finish up good things with Charles and Dr. Swinney coming up next. Talk TV. We're wrapping up our conversation with Dr. Swinney. She's the executive director of the ARK, and Charles Lewis, who's the director of basketball development, but was also his vision for the ARK, which is a nonprofit organization under New Horizon Ministries, and they are helping dedicated to the community empowerment, restoration, and transformation. Started with basketball, but good Lord, y'all got golf, y'all got volleyball, y'all got sort of all these other things. And I just feel like there needs to be an ARK in every county, or there needs to be one in every city. And I do know there are good community organizations and things in all our counties that are trying to reach the youth. But it just goes to show that it's needed and it's worth the effort to do. And now that you sit here, and I know Dr. Swinney and Charles, you're thinking, gosh, there's still so much work to do. But the work it took to get here, was it worth it?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Some of the guys that I've been training, like since the beginning, since day one, they ask me all the time, if somebody would have told you it took this long, would you still do it? I was like, probably not. But once you're doing it, you're not worried about how long it takes, or you're just kind of caught up in it. Because even now, I'm looking at one of the kids that played for my basketball team was doing security for us the other day. He was 9 at that time. And when I saw him doing security for us, I was like, wait a minute, you old enough to be doing security? And he was like, yeah, coach, I'm like 20. And I was like, whoa. And so if you're not looking at how long it takes. You're not looking at, you're just caught up on the vision and what your goal is to try to do in the community.
And all communities deserve this, right?
Yes.
Like, because you guys with the ARK, you leaned into a tough one, right? One that some would say has been left behind, or why would you why invest in there, or whatever it may be. But you have to lean, like that's where it needs to be, right?
Yes.
Like,
Absolutely.
so don't give up. Like, don't give up on, our inner cities. Don't give up on the spots that may be under challenge, or they have youth that are have challenging times. I'm trying to say it correctly. Like, how important is it, Charles, that we lean in and don't run from those areas?
Whoa, I try not to get emotional with it.
I'll cry with you.
That's the main thing, because I'm those kids. If we don't have a long enough segment for me to tell you about the mistakes and failures that I've had. And so when you're looking for help, when God said do this, and I was saying, hey, everybody, I'm going to do this, nobody was really supportive. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, in Jackson? Yeah. No, you're not going to do that. Here, nobody's going to pay you for that. And then also just with me, myself, I had to fight myself, because I was looking at, man, you failed at basketball. You didn't make it, and it wasn't like I wasn't good enough. I just made dumb decisions. And so that started to become the basis of what I was doing. That's when basketball became secondary, when God was speaking and saying, don't be ashamed of those things. You had those things happen. Now it's the testimony that people are buying into. Nobody's really buying into basketball. Basketball is great. I can teach it. I can coach it. I can do that with my eyes closed. But what gets the kids involved is when I can say, hey, I made those same mistakes you made. I messed up just like you. I thought my life was over. Hey, guys, I was 30, 29, and homeless. So most people don't come back from that. And so if you give up, if I would have gave up, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be in this gym. And so it's a push at all times not to give up. And for the people who want to give up on those communities, most of the kids that come from those communities are ones who, if you give them a little push, just give them a little light, that's so brilliant. There a lot of, cause like I said, a lot of the stuff that we go through ends up being a blessing if you know how to present it to someone going through the same thing, and it keeps them from making those decisions. It keeps them from walking down that same path. And so that's what I did with my life. My life, the testimony of it is the biggest thing. Even when the people we want to be donors are coming in and I have to talk, I don't sell them on, oh, the gym is so great and big, we're so amazing. No, I sell them on the fact that, hey, I'm these kids right here. And if I can come out of here and have something like this and do something like this, just imagine what we can do with them. And so if you don't believe in the vision of this, you should believe in the vision of them, because I'm them. And so if this can come from me, what can come from them when they've got somebody that can teach them this? Because nobody was teaching me. It was just, I think we need better. Let me start trying to figure it out.
Right. And the ripple effect will just be generations to sort of come.
Absolutely.
And I know y'all are looking to be around that long. So if folks want to learn more about the ARK and learn more about what you guys are doing, how can they go and do that?
So you can visit us on the website, the ARK601.org. You can call us at 769-867-9950. You can come in and visit us at 590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. We'll be happy to serve you and hopefully help transform your life in some way.
I hear you can get me to shoot a basket.
Yes.
So maybe I'll put that on my New Year's resolution.
Okay.
Let Charles teach me how to actually make I'm not going to be able to dunk it. I'm short. Can I dunk it?
I can let the goal down.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
When we come in, we say dream. We just want you to come in and dream. It's possible. Absolutely.
I love it. I adore y'all. Thank you for your time. You guys stick with us. We got more for you up next. You got the boys with Sports Talk Mississippi from 3 to 6. Rhino and I'll meet you back here tomorrow at 2. But until then, I hope you all find time for the good things.